Breaking transfer news from Catalonia. Barcelona have officially agreed a deal to sign Marcus Rashford from Manchester United on a season-long loan, with an option to buy. After failing to land Nico Williams, the Blaugrana turned their full attention to the England international, and now, he's in Barcelona, he's passed his medical, and he's already been greeted by Hansi Flick with a warm hug and handshake at the training ground. But here's the twist. Rashford might not even be allowed to play for Barça due to ongoing La Liga registration problems. Stay tuned as we break down everything, from the first Flick-Rashford interaction, to Jules Koundé's future, and why Rashford's debut could be at risk. Let's dive in. An insight into the first exchange between Barcelona head coach Hansi Flick and incoming signing Marcus Rashford at the club's training base has on Monday been provided. This of course comes after the Barcelona brass over the weekend tied up a deal for the Englishman. After striking out on first-choice winger target Nico Williams, those behind the scenes at the Camp Nou recently shifted full focus towards Rashford. With the player himself having long been keen on a move to Catalonia's capital, an agreement on the terms of a loan deal for the season ahead was therefore not long in being found. Breaking, Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, here we go. Verbal agreement in principle between all parties involved, with Barça planning for medical tests next days. Loan deal with buy option, details being finalized today, then Man United will authorize his travel to Spain. Rashford for his part touched down in Barcelona on Sunday night, before making the trip to his new club's headquarters for a round of medical tests early this morning. And waiting to welcome the Manchester United man upon his arrival was none other than Hansi Flick. As per a report from La Vanguardia, Hansi Flick was waiting for him there. With a hug and a handshake, the German coach welcomed him to the Blaugrana project. Deco also welcomed him. FC Barcelona have to be very methodical and careful about their transfer operations this summer. However, it must be kept in mind that this logic applies both to incoming players and outgoing ones as well. After all, Barcelona has to be careful about both. So far this summer, progression in both of those types of operations have been rather slow. However, while it does sometimes lead to the club being too slow to get certain targets, it is certainly better than haphazard spending or sales. Still, Barcelona recently managed to reach an agreement to sign Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford. However, beyond that arrival, recent reports have suggested that a certain Barcelona player himself might be attracting interest from Premier League teams. The player in question is none other than 26-year-old French defender Jules Koundé. However, despite these emerging reports, a recent update from Fabrizio Romano has clarified Barca's stance on the topic. As per the Italian journalist through his latest YouTube video, Barcelona have no intentions of parting ways with Jules Koundé. The Frenchman has been a great asset for the club, and they are not interested in seeing him go anytime soon. Barcelona want to renew his contract. In fact, Romano has stated that Barcelona are unwilling to negotiate an exit for the player with any club right now. Instead, he remains their starting right back, and the player is expected to continue with the club beyond the season as they work on his renewal. He is an untouchable player for both Hansi Flick and Deco, and the current priority is to arrange for his renewal. In fact, the club reportedly even met with his agent not too long ago through an informal meeting to possibly discuss his future. Jules Koundé is going nowhere this summer. With there still being time left in the summer transfer window, Barcelona might still remain active in the market. However, it is important to keep in mind their restricted financial capabilities. Yet, no operation is ever completely off the table for Barcelona to look into. The primary target for the club this summer was reportedly a new left winger. Initially, the club seemed to be on the right track to bring Nico Williams to Barça, but that deal unfortunately fell apart and Williams decided to renew his contract with Athletic Club. Still, the club remained persistent and ending up reaching an agreement to sign Marcus Rashford from Manchester United. While he is arriving on a loan deal, it is an operation that does seem to be favorable for the Catalan club. Barcelona consider the right-back position to be strong. Beyond that deal, however, there have been rumors suggesting that the club could consider purchasing a new right-back this summer. However, a recent update from a reliable journalist suggests that La Blaugrana have made no significant move towards making such a signing so far. According to Fabrizio Romano, Barcelona are confident in their current right-back options and don't feel the need to bring in anyone new. Their trust lies in two players: Jules Koundé, who is considered untouchable by Hansi Flick, and Eric García, a player the coach also rates highly. This directly shuts down rumors linking the club with a move for Denzel Dumfries, especially after Inter Milan's sporting director made it clear that there had been no approach from Barça. Despite some Premier League clubs showing interest in Koundé, Barcelona have no plans to sell him. In fact, they're already looking ahead. Both Koundé and García are in line for contract renewals. Koundé's deal runs until 2027, while García is tied to the club until 2026, and Barça want to secure their futures even further as part of the long-term plan for the defense. Marcus Rashford could be banned from playing for Barcelona after leaving Man United as nightmare scenario emerges. Marcus Rashford is facing an issue at Barcelona once he completes his transfer from Manchester United. Marcus Rashford could be prevented from playing for Barcelona ahead of his proposed transfer from Manchester United. Rashford has passed a medical at Barça ahead of his loan move from Man United. The La Liga giants have agreed to cover the 27-year-old's wages for the duration of his season-long loan after he accepted a 25% pay cut. Man United have told Barça how much it'll cost to secure his services on a permanent basis. Rashford is expected to be formally announced this week, but he could be prevented from playing for Barça in the 2025-26 season. They turned to Rashford after failing to land Nico Williams, with La Liga president Javier Tebas claiming the Athletic Bilbao star's transfer fell through as the club were unable to guarantee his registration. And Rashford has been warned he may face a similar issue once he completes his switch to Barça. According to Andy Brazel, there's no guarantee the England international will play for Barça. He's taking a pay cut to make this happen, but there's still no guarantee, certainly if you believe Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, that Barcelona will be able to register him for the moment, he explained on the Trans-Europe Express. That is something that we have to keep an eye on, as with every Barcelona signing. That was what made Nico Williams back out of the deal. Brazel added, Rashford doesn't have an enormous amount of options, partly because of his salary, partly because of a disappointing last couple of years, even if he did show bits of his old self at Aston Villa. Both sides needed this to happen quite badly, which I think is great news for Marcus Rashford, it's great news for England, and if it all works, it's good news for Barcelona as well. Barça have been dealt with registration issues in the past, with Dani Olmo missing the first 2 La Liga games of the season following his transfer. Jules Koundé also wasn't registered in time for their season opener when he joined from Sevilla. The club have work to do to ensure Rashford is registered ahead of their season opener against Real Mallorca on August 16th. So there you have it. Marcus Rashford is officially a Barcelona player, but the battle isn't over yet. Despite taking a 25% pay cut, there's still no guarantee he'll be registered in time for the season opener against Real Mallorca on August 16th. Barcelona fans will be hoping La Liga doesn't repeat past registration nightmares like those with Dani Olmo and Jules Koundé. Meanwhile, Hansi Flick is thrilled to have Rashford in his squad, and the club is also working hard to secure contract renewals for Jules Koundé and Eric García, showing faith in their defensive core. Will Rashford get the green light to play? Will this deal turn into a permanent move? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for all the latest from Camp Nou.